Hey saddle hunters, coming to you from deer camp, and I'm going to give you a review of the Aero Hunter Merlin. I've owned every Aero Hunter since the Kestrel, and then the Kestrel Flex, and now the Aero Hunter Merlin. As you've heard on my other videos, the Kestrel Flex, in my opinion, is the most comfortable single panel saddle that I have ever sat in. And the Aero Hunter Merlin is a lot like the Flex with a couple of upgrades. For 2020, they released the Merlin and a new version of the Kestrel Flex. And the Merlin is basically the Kestrel Flex, but with a mesh seat. So let me show it to you. I'm going to show you some of the features, some of the changes that they've made for 2020, and then I'll show you it in the tree. So here we go. I have the saddle right here. You can see it is a mesh body. If we come around to the back, the saddle has really good stitching all over. The construction and the build is fantastic. They've got one row of molly webbing. Aero Hunter does their molly webbing so that it's got a little bit of open space. That's not great for some of those tethered type bags that slide on there, but it works. You know, I've attached a zip tie between my two metal pieces that slip through there just to keep it from falling off, and that works well. You can see the lineman's belts are right around the point of the saddle. They've got a loop that's oriented vertically. I would kind of like it to be oriented horizontally. It seems like it's a little bit easier to clip in when it's horizontal. They're not big lineman belt loops by any sense of the imagination, but they are stiff and they do stay open, so that's nice. You can see Aero Hunter, as usual, has very robust main webbing straps. ADF Raptor buckle. This is the same buckle that they had on the Kestrel Flex. Just tremendously built. You can see on the sides now, this is one of the main differences. There are now two loops on the side. The bigger one is, of course, your bridge loop, and then there's a smaller loop that serves a couple different functions. It can either be a lower lineman's belt loop, so if you want your lineman's belt to pull more from kind of your hips, you would use the lower one, or if you want it to pull kind of more at your waist, you can use this higher one. So that's one feature of this second loop. The second thing it does, that's where the leg straps attach. And you can see this is the receiving buckle for the leg strap. It's just girth hitched onto that loop. But you can take this off because it's girth hitched just by backing it out and move it and attach it to the lower portion of the bridge. And that gives you just a little bit different angle. And for some people, that might change the comfort level in the saddle. So nice feature. Moving on to the bridge here, you can see the bridge is a tubular webbing bridge, and in my opinion, this is the best tubular webbing bridge on the market. It's girth hitched on both sides, so you can move it up and down the bridge loop, and when you put pressure on it, it stays put and doesn't move at all. So you can change the comfort and the pressure points of the saddle underneath you. So that's really well done. Here's a look at the other side. And you can see this tri-glide, because it's attached and sewn, you can see kind of, it loops up into the middle of the tri-glide and it's sewn on. It adjusts really easy. You just feed some into it, pull it down, and that's your adjustment. To feed it out, you just push it up and let it out. That's all there is to it. So that works really, really good. This is a fantastic bridge. Moving on to the bottom, you can see the leg straps attach right there on the bottom of the saddle. Same ADF Raptor clips, a little bit smaller size though as the waist buckle. And you can see they've included webbing keepers on those. So that's a super nice feature. They work really well. They're excellently done. Big feature of this is the pleat in the middle, of course. You can see it closed here, and if you want to open it, you can see how much it expands. It probably opens about 4 inches across right there in the middle. So creates a much deeper seat, a lot more fabric. In a single paddle saddle, the more fabric you have, the more comfort you're going to have. So a couple things I want to point out to you between this and the Kestrel Flex. In my Kestrel Flex, I had two major complaints. One of them was with the pleat. The pleat just wanted to stay open all the time. I don't know if it's just the mesh or what, but you can see this pleat stays closed a lot easier than the Kestrel Flex. So that's kind of nice. It's easier to keep it open and it's easier to keep it closed when it's in the tree. So that pleat system works really well. It always kind of wants to spring back to closed. So that's a nice option. Second thing they've done, which I think is a major improvement this year, is on the waist buckle. You might remember me talking about how there was a lot of jingle to this buckle. Well, this year they have added a little piece of webbing on there that just tightens that metal piece that goes down the middle, pushes up against it a little bit, cuts down on the noise from this saddle a tremendous amount. So that's a really good feature. A lot quieter than the Kestrel Flex. So the waist belt, you can see it just buckles together. These ADF Raptor buckles are super easy to use. And once again, they've got a webbing keeper on the belt. Size-wise, the Aero Hunter Kestrel comes in two sizes. A size 1 goes from 26 to 36, and I believe a size 2 is 36 to 46, something like that, mid 40s. So good size options. I'm about a 32, 33 inch waist, and this is supremely comfortable, guys. Last thing I'll point out that they've added before I put it on the tree, they've added 3 loops, and I hope you can see that. There you can see one against the window there, right here. 3 loops, one in the middle, and then one on each end of the saddle. And those 3 loops are for suspenders. So you can hook suspenders to them. I imagine you could hook a number of different things to them, but it just gives you a little bit more option. You know, if you're a guy who wears a couple pouches and find your saddle sagging down, you can throw some suspenders on those and it'll hold it up. I think this waist belt's super robust and it's right at the top of the saddle. So I think while it's a lot of fabric and it does hang below your butt, and there are probably more comfortable options for walking in, this isn't bad. It doesn't sag at all under the weight of the ropes, and when you get in the tree, I have found this saddle to be supremely comfortable. No pressure points, no hip pinch, nothing like that. So once again, Aero Hunter has taken their best saddle in the Kestrel Flex, tweaked it, changed it, and the Merlin is in mesh and came out with another fantastic option for 2020. So I'm going to put it on, show it to you guys in the tree, and we will wrap this up. Thanks for tuning in. Okay guys, here we are in the tree. I got the Aero Hunter Merlin on. I'm going to show you a little bit about how I hook up. Typically if I'm going to lean, I like a lower tether height. So right now this is probably about chin height, and I just tighten it up some, lean back into it, and that works pretty good. For leaning, I do like to have the pleat open. So you just grab the bottom of it, pull it down a little bit, and you can see kind of how it rides up above the top of my hips. So that prevents the pinch on the iliac crest of your hip. And then the bottom strap is below my hip bones. And so that's why this saddle doesn't have any hip pinch. You don't have any pressure points on your iliac crest or your hip bones due to the larger fabric. So this is kind of how I would set up if I was leaning, and it works pretty good. In order to sit, I also like to have the pleat open. So I keep the pleat open most of the time on this saddle. If I was going to sit, I could go right from here, and my knees are probably, you can see that angle, 110, 120 degrees, and that's really pretty good. I might let it out a little bit. I kind of like a little bit lower seat, not much, maybe come down the tether an inch so that I'm, you know, maybe 90 to 100 degrees, and I could sit here with my knees on the tree all day long. You can see the angle of the bridge is pretty steep, but let me just show you how we could adjust that. If I take these bridge pieces and slide them on down the bridge, you'll be able to see them grab, and you can see how much more pressure is underneath my butt. A lot of pressure on this strap now, hardly any pressure at all on the top. So that's pretty exaggerated. I probably would never go that far. I like it fairly balanced, but just to show you the other extreme, you can take them both up to the top and make sure it seats and it grabs. You can see how it just stays right there. Now I've got a whole lot more pressure in my lower back than I do on my butt. Almost kind of good back support if you've got a bad lower back. But me personally, I like to run it right about in the middle of the loop, balance the pressure pretty good, maybe slightly a half an inch on the high side, something like that, and that gives me good distributed support. Works great. So if you want to take the pleat up, all you do, grab right at the beginning there, right where they meet, take the pressure off, pull the pleat up, and it pops right into place. Sit back in it, and now it's a lot thinner profile. So this pleat works really well, a lot better than the original Flex in my opinion. You can see the lineman loops are right there on the point of your hips. That's really good, but you can see they're vertical, and I wish they were kind of horizontal so that you could clip the carabiner down into them, but that's not the end of the world. So just something to be aware of. Other than that, I think that's all I wanted to show you guys on the Aero Hunter Merlin. You can make pretty easy on-the-fly bridge adjustments. All you got to do is step up onto your platform, take some out, and I just shortened the bridge 3 inches that fast. So really good on-the-fly bridge adjustments in this saddle. So anyway, I think that's most everything I wanted to point out to you guys. Once again, this is the most comfortable single panel saddle I've ever sat in. Hope you guys are having a good hunting season. Thanks for watching the Saddle Hunting channel here on YouTube, and stay tuned. We've got more reviews coming soon. Thanks.